What if I told you that one of the biggest music groups in the world right now didn't get there because of luck, a viral trend, or a single hit song? What if their success was actually built through years of relentless work that most people never saw? When people look at Stray Kids today, they see sold-out stadiums, Billboard #1 albums, billions of streams, and millions of fans across the globe. But what they often don't see are the countless hours spent producing music, writing lyrics, practicing choreography, and constantly pushing themselves to improve. That's why today I want to talk about something I think is often overlooked in the conversation about Stray Kids. Their global dominance wasn't handed to them. It was earned. And honestly, the more I look at their journey, the harder it becomes to argue that luck played the biggest role in their success. When Stray Kids first appeared through their survival show project, there was no guarantee they would become one of the most successful K-pop groups of their generation. In fact, if you go back and watch those early days, you'll see a group of young artists trying to prove themselves while carrying enormous pressure. Unlike many groups that debut with a carefully designed formula created entirely by a company, Stray Kids started with something different. They started with a vision. Bang Chan wasn't simply assigned to a team. He helped build it. He selected members he believed could grow together and create something unique. Looking back now, that's a huge reason why the group feels so authentic even years after debut. One thing that separates Stray Kids from many of their peers is their commitment to creative control. In K-pop, creative involvement varies from group to group, but Stray Kids took ownership of their music from the beginning. At the center of that effort is 3RACHA, the producing unit made up of Bang Chan, Changbin, and Han. These three aren't just performers, they're architects. They're involved in writing, composing, arranging, and shaping the sound that defines Stray Kids. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why their music feels so distinct. Whether you love every song or not, you can immediately recognize when you're listening to Stray Kids. In today's music industry, having that kind of identity is incredibly valuable. What's even more impressive is the sheer volume of work they've produced. Fans often talk about the number of songs credited to the members, especially Changbin, whose songwriting credits have reached numbers that many professional producers would be proud of. Think about that for a second. While many people see idols performing on stage for a few hours, they don't see the hundreds or thousands of hours spent behind the scenes creating the music itself. That's the kind of effort that doesn't always make headlines, but it's often what separates long-term success from short-term popularity. Then there's the music itself. Stray Kids didn't become successful by playing it safe. If anything, they became successful because they were willing to take risks. Their sound has often been described as experimental, aggressive, and unconventional. Songs like God's Menu didn't sound like typical mainstream K-pop when they were released. In fact, some people were confused by it at first, but that's exactly why it worked. Instead of chasing trends, Stray Kids focused on creating something that reflected their own artistic identity. They mixed hip-hop, electronic music, rock influences, and even traditional Korean elements in ways that felt unpredictable and fresh. What many fans now call their Malate style wasn't designed to please everyone. It was designed to stand out. And eventually, the world paid attention. This is where I think an important lesson emerges. A lot of people assume success comes from finding what everyone likes. Stray Kids did something different. They focused on becoming unforgettable. Even people who weren't fans often remembered their performances, their concepts, or their sound. That's a powerful advantage in an industry overflowing with talented artists competing for attention. Of course, creativity alone isn't enough to create global dominance. You also need consistency. And if there's one word I would use to describe Stray Kids' career, it's consistent. Year after year, comeback after comeback, they kept delivering. While some groups experience a huge peak followed by a slowdown, Stray Kids seem to keep building momentum. Their fan base, known as Stay, grew alongside them because fans could see the effort being invested into every project. Trust between artists and fans doesn't happen overnight. It's built through repeated proof that the artists genuinely care about what they're creating. The results eventually became impossible to ignore. Their achievements on the Billboard 200 chart transformed them from a successful K-pop group into a global music phenomenon. Becoming the first artist in history to debut multiple consecutive entries at #1 on the Billboard 200 is not something that happens by accident. That's not luck. That's the result of years of audience building, brand building, and artistic development. Every album release became an event. Every comeback attracted more attention than the last. And perhaps most importantly, they managed to sustain that momentum rather than relying on one breakout moment. Their streaming numbers tell a similar story. Billions of Spotify streams don't come from a single viral trend. They come from listeners returning again and again because they genuinely enjoy the music. In today's streaming era, attention is easy to gain, but difficult to keep. The fact that Stray Kids continue attracting listeners worldwide suggests something deeper than temporary popularity. It suggests lasting connection. Then we have the world tours, which might be the most visible symbol of their success. There's something different about seeing photos of a stadium packed with fans from every corner of the world, singing along to songs written by a group that started as trainees in South Korea. The Dominate World Tour, selling over 1 million tickets, isn't just a business achievement. It's proof that their message has crossed language barriers, cultural barriers, and geographical barriers. People from completely different backgrounds connect with the same music, the same energy, and the same story. What's fascinating to me is that even after reaching this level of success, the members often seem uncomfortable calling themselves successful. Bang Chan has spoken about how heavy that word can feel. And honestly, I think that mindset explains a lot. The moment someone believes they've completely made it, growth often slows down. But Stray Kids still approach their career like people who have something left to prove. They continue experimenting, they continue challenging themselves, they continue setting higher goals. I also think their humility plays a bigger role than many people realize. In an industry where fame can easily create distance between artists and audiences, Stray Kids have maintained a reputation for appreciating their fans and supporting one another. Their bond as a team feels genuine, and fans notice that. When audiences believe a group truly cares about each other, it strengthens the emotional connection they feel toward the group as a whole. At the end of the day, I don't think Stray Kids' story is really about charts, streams, records, or ticket sales. Those are just outcomes. The real story is about what happens when talent meets relentless effort over a long period of time. It's about choosing the difficult path of creative independence. It's about continuing to work when success isn't guaranteed. And it's about staying committed to your identity, even when taking risks feels uncomfortable. But now I want to hear your opinion. What do you think is the biggest reason behind Stray Kids' global dominance? Is it their self-produced music? Their unique sound? Their work ethic? Their connection with Stay? Or do you think there's another factor that people don't talk about enough? And here's an even bigger question. If Stray Kids had followed a more traditional K-pop formula instead of creating their own path, would they be as successful today? Let me know what you think, because their journey raises one of the most interesting debates in modern K-pop. Does true global success come from following the industry, or from having the courage to redefine it?